और भाई हिदर एंड उस्मान आज हमारे साथ हमें ज्वाइन किया है. उस्मान ने लंदन से हमें ज्वाइन किया वाया लंदन.
virtually.
तो टुडे वी आर बैक विद टेनिस. फ्रेंच ओपन आने वाला है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सारा कुछ शुरू होने से पहले I am going to give a shout out to my team Liverpool because they are in the Champions League final. They are fighting for the Premier League. They've already won 2 trophies this season. So right now it's the best time to be a Liverpool fan. और वो अब गुजर गए. Let's start with now tennis. Usman, I will come back to you. First I'll start with Heather about tennis. So Heather, the French Open is coming. There are 4 big names right now. We'll talk about it later, Zada. But during this whole now, we'll start off with discussing the whole ATP calendar which just went by the clay court. What do you think? What happened? Who do you think put his name there to be the winner of French Open this year? And who do you think disappointed us? So you can start off with all of that about the ATPs and everything.
The person who left his mark was obviously Carlos Alcaraz. He's sad to say for me, but he's following Nadal's footsteps. At the same age where Nadal started dominating, he's dominating as well. So obviously, I think there's no argument in who the upcoming star is, and the disappointment is obviously the next soon to be forgotten generation in Tsitsipas, Zverev, and all these other guys.
Who we would call the next gen, which they are technically not the next gen anymore.
I mean, Tsitsipas has put in good results, but every time he comes up against the top 2, top 3 guys, he finds a way to lose, as always. So that's pretty much it.
So in your words, Alcaraz is the main guy who's put himself forward this year in the ATPs.
I think he's the first one who really looks like a genuine contender. He's there physically and mentally,
and he's still in his teens.
He's 19 now, and he every time he played against Nadal and Djokovic, he was pushing them around and wasn't really being dictated. So that's something that we haven't seen. And he's very smart as well, serve and volleys. Has a kick serve as well, and has a very smart tennis IQ.
Another thing I would like to add to it was Zverev himself when he lost the final to Alcaraz. Zverev, I don't know if he was exaggerating or whatever. He said that Alcaraz is currently the best player in the world. That's a huge thing to say to a teenager. Of all people, he's not won any Grand Slams yet. He's not won anything big. So there's a big question mark right now. Yes, Alcaraz has come forward, but he hasn't shown it till now in a 5-setter tournament, which is a Grand Slam. I'll go to Usman for it. We've talked to you about Alcaraz. When we go to Usman, we always have to talk about Nadal because that's his guy. So Nadal, Usman, do you think Nadal is a favorite to win this tournament again, as he has always been on clay, first of all? And then, because Nadal losing to Alcaraz in the ATP tournament this time around, do you fear somewhere that Nadal can get a unlucky draw and Alcaraz can get to him early in the tournament?
So I'll mention some facts. This is the first time since 2004 that Nadal is going into French Open without winning a single clay court season. So this is a big change for Nadal. And this is a sign that I think Nadal is not ready for the French, because he needs to have a lot of practice on clay before going into there. Or in the end, he does pick up his lead, or he gets into form when he enters the French. This time, there's nothing there. There's no practice, and there's also an injury as well. And let's see. I don't think Nadal had a good chance this time around, to be honest. Especially with Alcaraz, a young teenager coming in the frame, and as Zverev said, that he's one of the best right now. And I think talking about Alcaraz, I think he's a guy which I always used to say that we need someone coming at this young age and winning a slam. So if he wins a slam this year at this age, then he's one of the great champions you're going to see in the making compared to the young gen. You call them young gen, but I could say I call Alcaraz the Gen Z basically, because they are extremely young players in the tennis sport. So I think Alcaraz has all the qualities. Even someone was comparing, he has the forehand of Djokovic, he has the forehand of Nadal and backhand of Djokovic, and also very similar style to Federer. And as you can see, the drop shots which he does is that it has nearly 100% accuracy in all his shots, especially in the drop shots. He's such a confident guy. And also last year when he was giving a tough time to Nadal on clay, I said that he's a guy which we should look forward to, because he was a player who was really learning from his mistakes and really quickly growing in the tennis sport. So I think he's the player among the young gen. When I say about the young gen, is the gen among Sinner and Felix. Those are the young gen, or Gen X, I would say. Tsitsipas, Zverev, they've been here for the past, I think, 5-7 years now. So I won't call them young gen. So I think Alcaraz has that quality of the big three, and he will show a lot of good fight in the tournament. He might not win the French, but he will give a tough time to Nadal.
We'll come with the predictions later on, but I'll come back to Heather now. You've talked about Alcaraz, but Heather, 2 points here. First point about him talking about Alcaraz. Do you feel us talking like this and the world, tennis world and the tennis fan community talking about him like this will put this undue pressure on? He's a kid, first of all. So it's going to be a lot of pressure comparing him to people like Federer and Nadal, and they're actually saying that he's a clone of both the players, and this can really affect him mentally as well. So if he pulls out from this and does show, not even winning the tournament, but goes far ahead in the tournament, it will show that the boy has a little bit of character and he can stay with the with the men in the business. But first of all, this, and also secondly, back off the screen, we talk about how Usman tries to make Nadal into this underdog player of the tournament when he on clay there is never ever any other favorite
really
than Nadal. So I want your opinion about that, how Usman plays out the underdog card.
Well, obviously, okay. Firstly, on Alcaraz, you said we're discussing whether he can handle pressure or not. Obviously, look, he'll have pressure, but great champions, they find a way to handle pressure. Nadal, when he was 18, 19, when he came into the French Open, he had won some tournaments, and then he ended up winning the tournament. And he beat Federer in the semis.
He actually beat Carlos Moya when he was 16, and that's when everyone saw him, because Moya was the clay player that time.
Exactly, and from Alcaraz so far, we've seen positive signs, because I think this was the first time that someone had beat Nadal and Djokovic back to back on a clay court, and he actually went on to win the tournament and he blew Zverev away. I mean, you expect these guys to maybe be drained, be a bit tired physically, but he won that tournament. In Barcelona, he played 2 matches in one day, played a 3-setter, and then went on to win the final quite comfortably as well. So far, the signs are really good for him. I think he's the destined guy to sort of take over from the big three, because from the way he plays, it's like, again, he's the one who's dictating with the points. And Usman mentioned his drop shots and everything. He has a very good tennis IQ.
Against, I think, Djokovic, his drop shots were they were pretty much perfect.
He pushes them back, and then he finds the right time to execute the drop shot. He finds the right time to serve and volley. Exactly, serve and volley, and he's willing to change it up a bit. He isn't like the previous players we've seen, like Zverev, Tsitsipas, where they just sort of have a single type of game plan where they just try to boss the other guy from the baseline, and if that isn't working, they just end up losing the match. So I think if he can get through the first couple of rounds, I think he should definitely go far in the tournament. Secondly, Usman playing down Nadal.
Yeah, the underdog.
Oh my ribs, oh my foot, oh my head, oh my whatever. Nadal, okay, he hasn't won a tournament since 2004, but we've seen this many, many times. I mean, in Australia, he won he played 4 matches, and then Zverev, he beat Medvedev. Medvedev went from supreme to stupid, no doubt, but the guy, I think he just paints an image where, he just portrays himself to be under pressure, about to lose, the world is about to fall, he's about to retire, he's about to die, God knows what's going to happen. Exactly. This is what he's thinking.
Usman is having fun right now.
But look, obviously his foot isn't right. I think it'll depend on the draw. If he gets a tough draw, I don't think he'll win it. But I think if he gets a relatively easier draw, he should definitely make it to the semis.
And then it's anyone's game.
Yeah, if he comes up against Djokovic, I think Djokovic should win that match. But we'll come to the predictions later for now. And
He is having his fun. But Usman, let
You
me
should
come to you.
display feet, ribs, hands, and that too.
Usman, but let me come to you. We've talked about Nadal and we've talked about Alcaraz, but I think we all are forgetting one player, and one player we haven't talked about is Novak Djokovic. He's going to play this Grand Slam after missing the Australian Open. He must be angry anyways because Nadal is one past Djokovic. Do you give Djokovic any chance in the tournament? Do you think Djokovic has a chance to win the French Open?
I think Djokovic has the best chance. To win the French Open.
So Usman has spoken.
Honestly, Djokovic is on fire right now, especially after he lost to Alcaraz. He is going to take his.
He won the last ATP, so he won Rome against Tsitsipas in the final, and it was a great game, by Djokovic.
Comfortably. And he's the only player who has peaked at the right time, at the right surface right now.
Yeah.
Because Alcaraz still, we are missing one thing about Alcaraz. He has no experience in the best of five. He's no doubt he's the best player right now. He will be a champion in the future. He will win a Grand Slam this year.
That's the biggest point.
Number one, and he's among the young gen who has improved really quickly. And he's a smart guy. He's not only physically strong, he's mentally strong as well. He knows when to execute the right shots at the right time with 100% accuracy.
Yeah.
And in all the departments, he's 10 out of 10 player right now for me. At this age, at the age of 18, with Nadal was also, but he's even better than Nadal at that age. Because Nadal improved his service at a couple of after years. But this player, he's good in every.
But Heather, how Usman,
he's going to improve every day.
like how Usman is saying about the 5-setter thing, that is extremely important. So, just getting away from Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic, what Usman had said, this. Any players you think can still put up a big surprise like a Tsitsipas or a Zverev or a Felix? Felix didn't play really well on clay on the ATPs, but any players you think can make a big surprise?
Look, there's a first time for everything. I mean, Alcaraz did something that no one had done before in Madrid. He beat, like I mentioned, Nadal, Djokovic, and then he won the tournament.
Within 2 days,
Within 2 days, exactly. I mean, so why can't he go on and win the French Open if he gets through the first 2 rounds or 3 rounds? Tsitsipas and Zverev obviously have the potential, but I just don't see them actually winning the tournament because I think they just find a way to lose against the best players in the world. They can only win even if they have Alcaraz in the final, I think they'll still lose. If they have someone ranked outside the top 10, that's when they'll have their best chance. We saw the Zverev and Thiem final of the US Open a couple of years back, and in the final set tiebreak, that sort of summed up these guys. I mean, they're just so scared to win at times. I mean, it was like a strange match where no one wanted to miss, and you can't really win. With Alcaraz, he's dominating the point. He takes it to the opponent.
So a lot of it will depend on the draw then,
Exactly.
how the draw goes. So we can see. Yes, Usman.
I think it all depends on the draw, to be honest. Because if they all three fall in the same draw, it will be a very boring finish.
Oh, by the way, one more thing: Nadal's dropped down to 5 now, so he can actually meet Djokovic in the quarters.
So that it all depends on the draw then, yes?
It all depends on the draw.
So,
Because
Usman,
if Nadal
just-
gets across, then it will be, or even if Djokovic he gets either one of them, then if Nadal wants a little bit of chance, he needs both the players in the other draw, Alcaraz and Djokovic.
So
I'm not a huge fan of Nadal. I want Nadal to win, obviously, but I think final between Alcaraz and Djokovic will going to be one of the most epic finals I want to watch at French Open.
Fine. But now we've talked about these were the main contenders. So we previewed the French Open. Now, Usman, I'll start with you. Give me one final prediction of the French Open. Who do you think will win? And then me and Heather will also give a prediction.
I think I will come at the end. Let's start with Heather first.
This is Nadal fans. Underdog, pehले
No,
play karo.
why don't you go first?
Batao.
Why? I don't mind.
Please, I still stand.
You insist. Very British of you.
Very British. He's in England, so.
Exactly.
Acha, bata do. Usman, you should go first, I think. We have decided.
Sure, I'll go for it. I think if Alcaraz and Djokovic falls in the same draw, then Nadal.
We don't want any Fs. Just give us the name you think who will win the French Open.
I think Djokovic will win the French Open.
Okay. Heather, you tell us.
The draw will win the French Open.
The draw will win the French. Draw will be important, but you still have to give us a name.
That's what I was mentioning, but you didn't let me go through it.
Yeah, but that's why I said that there's no point in discussing
Okay, if
that.
Alcaraz goes through the first 2 rounds,
Don't say Zverev.
I'm gonna never again.
Never again.
I'll go with Alcaraz, and I think Djokovic will lose in the quarters and for semis.
Okay, so Usman, you are up with a. I think just for the sake of it, because you've said
I hope I'm wrong about Djokovic.
you've said Djokovic. He has said Alcaraz. So for the fun of it, I'll say Nadal. So all three of us have 3 different predictions.
I love you. I love you for that. I really wanted to say Nadal, but I think this time it's really
So let's see, because now I had a feeling of Alcaraz. But I want to keep it 3 different. So all 3 of us have different stakes in the prediction.
If Nadal doesn't play French or he falls out early in the round, I really want Djokovic and Alcaraz final.
Yeah, obviously. It feels like that as well, because I think there's the difference in playing quality on clay. These 3 players, and then maybe Tsitsipas there as well. Other than those, are pretty different in quality.
It depends on Nadal's foot as well.
It's going to be among the 4.
So thank you guys. We've previewed it. We will come now back on the French Open review episode. We're going to review it. And Usman, we're going to catch you from London again.
I would also like to have a moment of silence for Andrew Simons.
Yes, another tragic. The last time you were here it was Shane Warne, and now this time it's Andrew Simons. Really tragic. One of the players on the greatest invincible Australian teams, and really fun to watch. His one of the greatest innings, which if you would remember, was against Pakistan in the World Cup in I think South Africa.
Every Pakistani remembers that.
Yeah, because South Africa were 81 for 4, and he went on and made 140 something. Amazing player. Amazing player. So, but really sad news. But yes, we're going to come back for the French review episode. Usman, good to catch up with you again and have fun.
I'm just hoping for the draw.
And